right, so as you can see, welcome to our beautiful new school. We are in the Waltham room. Angela, can you open the door? So this is the Waltham room, which last year when we were doing presentations, Mr. Braggs was like, just wait till next year, you're gonna get the best space. And then yesterday we couldn't have the Waltham room. So today we have the best space in the whole school. That makes me nervous because I can't use technology very well. You guys, actually had you do it. But let me start over and be like professional now. I am Mrs. Perna, the Capstone teacher, and I am so thrilled that you are here. Yesterday we had the first half of the class go, and I was telling the parents there, so some of you might hear this again, but this class has always been a very special one for me. They are my last Changemaker class. They are my fourth Capstone class, and this is our class that has had the most projects so far. So we had 15 projects that were done that impacted the community in lots of different ways. And we've had our ups and our downs, but in each case they really pulled out a project that they should be proud of, that I am proud of, and that I'm happy to present to you, the families who I know supported them in lots of ways. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for trusting us 4 years ago with your students in Changemaker, and thank you for continuing with us in this Capstone project. And now we're going to start the presentations. We'll go right through, and then at the end we'll have some time where the kids will set up and you can ask them specific questions about their project or their process.
Green, Sagastume, if you're in the building, please report to the front desk. Green, Sagastume, si estás en el edificio, por favor, preséntate a la entrada de la escuela, al despacho principal. Gracias.
All right, so seniors, when you come up, there's a lot of wires. Unfortunately, it's the only way to do it with the MacBook, so just be careful you don't take yourself or anything down. And then you can just use spacebar. So our first one is Comfort Kits by Maria, David, and Priya. Do you want me to do which one?
My name is Maria.
I'm David.
My name is Priya.
And our project is called Comfort Kits.
Our inspiration: living near a city like Boston, we have seen many people struggle with the issue of homelessness and how hard it is for shelters to keep up with their needs. It has made us realize how important it is to help out, whether it's by donating, volunteering, or simply just talking about this issue. Some of our guiding questions were: how big is the local homeless population? How can we help? What direction can raising awareness and accumulating donations take? And what supplies would be the most useful?
In order to start our project, we began by contacting the manager of the Community Day Center of Waltham. And over a Zoom meeting with her, we spoke about what inspired to go on this journey, and then also what supplies we needed the most at the shelter. Then we held 2 bake sales to fundraise the money necessary to buy the supplies. And we held a donation drive in the house offices, but we didn't get much from that. And then yesterday, actually, we brought the supplies to the homeless shelter.
Some successes we've had: we held 2 bake sales. We baked cookies, brownies, tiramisu, anything you can imagine, and we raised $410 in total. And to do this, we also made different forms of advertising, like flyers or slides for the advisory slides. And another big win is we met with the manager of the Community Day Center of Waltham, and that gave us a lot of important information on how to help them. And the biggest win was actually donating the supplies to the shelter.
Some challenges that we ran into during this project were lack of communication with the school staff when asking for permission to place donation box at the Waltham High School main office. However, we worked our way around this challenge by deciding to put the donation boxes in the house offices instead. We also received very few donations from the donation drives. It possibly happened with the overlap of the Hawks for the holidays and our lack of advertisement. We also contacted local CVS locations asking if they would be willing to donate anything. However, we did not get a response.
If we were to continue the project, we would contact more possible donors and then also extend the donation drive as well as advertise it better. And then this would help us get more donations so we could then give to the community day center. We would also interview more advocates. In the interview process that we had, we only interviewed the director, but we would try to get more insight on how we could improve the project. And then finally, we would package the comfort kits to live up to our name. We planned on making packages that were for one person and then distribute them to people at the homeless shelter.
So through this project, I think we learned many life skills, and we also learned how to work in a group towards like a goal. We learned how to reach out to local organizations and use the resources around us. We learned how to organize events or fundraisers such as bake sales on the road. And we worked together to find time in and out of school to buy supplies, bake, and do all the other jobs. And overall, we achieved our end goal to help donate to the community day center of Waltham.
Last but not least, we would like to thank Ms. Priya for guiding us through this project, Ms. Chloe Rose from the Community Day Center of Waltham for partnering with us, our friends who helped us at the bake sales and buying supplies, and anyone who helped donate to this cause. Thank you.
Project I made of Waltham auxiliary language. My question was, how can I help improve communication and interconnectedness at the Waltham High School? During Capstone class, I learned about the problems being faced in Waltham, including issues of communication and language barriers. This inspired me to create an auxiliary language because I've been studying linguistics on my own time. An auxiliary language is a language that is created to help unite groups of people who speak different languages by incorporating different elements of those languages. Throughout my project, I talked with the director of the multilingual department, who provided me with data about languages spoken in Waltham. I used information from books and example languages, and I also used AI to get ideas for how to develop the project and to make the translation process easier. I learned a lot about linguistics and how language creation works. And finally, each part of the project has changed many times. For example, I've changed my method for sourcing words about every few weeks, and I settled on my latest version a few days before I finished the project. So for my project, I created an auxiliary language for languages spoken in Waltham that are not widely represented. So it does not include English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, or Portuguese. In the middle is an example of what the language looks like. It's a translation of the Waltham High School mission statement. While creating my project, I learned a lot about all the source languages they used while translating words, developing sounds, and creating grammar, and also about linguistics in general. This information will be useful in maybe continuing with this or creating a different language in the future. My biggest challenge was deciding on how I should include the different languages. It was difficult because the number of speakers of these languages were very different. For example, there were 34 households who speak Russian, but only 3 who speak Vietnamese. In the end, I decided to base inclusion based on language family, so I created most of the words around Slavic or Indic languages, and created only a few words in the Austro-Asiatic family. Something I'm proud of is that I was able to make something that achieved all my goals, which were being simple, easy to learn, and inclusive of all the source languages. It's pretty well known that the first of someone's artistic creations will be perfect, and that includes this. So because of this, if I were going to continue with this project, I would probably create something new using what I've learned throughout this project. Also, if I had enough time to make a complete and functional language, I would have to consider how the language would be shared or incorporated into the school system. So maybe it would only be used in a dual language school, or be included in translations of the forms sent to parents. Thanks to Ms. Hammerla for the information about language spoken in Waltham, and also Ms. Burnett.
Hello, I'm Pablo, Lucero. I'm Oyon, Ganguli, and our presentation is about technology guide for the elderly. So we've all noticed, and you probably noticed too, how like elderly people used to struggle more with like technology stuff like emails, photos, and like any simple stuff. And in the school we see it as well with like older teachers, not naming any specific ones. And we wonder if teachers are the ones struggling. I wonder how many more people are struggling in everyday life. So we decided to do an online slideshow, which like guides them through like simple things to do, and that way it's easier to distribute it, and it's a way for them to learn as well, like how to use a slideshow. And our initial questions were, so what do elderly people struggle with the most? And like we could see that in school, like around like at home sometimes, and how can they learn it in an easy, simple way. So we looked online and we looked at what teachers like struggle with, devise a boot camp to cram teach the elderly and like other.
So obviously what's important here is, I'm guessing if you have elderly relatives, they all are on like Facebook, all those like social media platforms. You want to target apps that they might not use, like Google Drive for instance. If you know about like, you know, your relatives have all these like photos or VHS tapes and stuff like that, it's really important to archive stuff like that. So teaching Google Drive, sharing photos like that for the future can be very important to preserve history. And NPR StoryCorps is a really good example of this. If you don't know, it's an app by NPR. Basically, you can go interview some old relative, tell a story about something else, and after that it'll be uploaded to the Library of Congress, basically forever. So it's really good about archiving the past and just using the internet in a good way. That being said, the internet is the internet. It is great at lying. We thought it'd be important to include news, AI, like how to know what's fake, how to know what's obviously garbage. So we did some parts on identifying AI and how to avoid misusing that, and also using reliable sources. Examples being OpenAI and Maxx being notoriously unreliable in general.
So our ups and downs, our original idea was to do an in-person boot camp where we would have like multiple volunteers and like us at the Waltham Public Library, where we would teach how to do simple stuff, and then we would break into groups, and then we would help each person individually with like specific questions they have, and like it would be way more like better than we would have thought. But unfortunately, when we contacted like 3 different senior centers to see if there was anyone that wanted to go and like learn, none of them responded back. We emailed, we called, and we visited in person, nothing.
Yeah.
So we had to revise it, and we were short on time. So we decided to use our old slideshow that we would have shown at boot camp, and like use it as an online version, and then distribute it to like Facebook, like online pages for like where elderly people kind of go more, so they can learn it by themselves.
So obviously, this happened in a timeline. We were working on this. We started with saying, okay, we want to tackle this through a boot camp because obviously FAQs are better in person, and doing stuff online is bad because we're trying to teach them to be online, so it's catch-22. We just did about 2 weeks out before this presentation, realizing this is not realistic, it can't happen with this time frame. And then we ended up creating our final product of just reusing those slides as more of a guide online, which is part of our main goal. Oh, this we will show afterwards. I thought I got rid of this.
Oh, you
My
did.
bad. Yeah.
So reflection, I feel like we had initially a good idea, but we just didn't push hard enough to get it done on time. And I feel like we should have contacted the senior centers earlier, but like visiting them more often and see if there's anyone that we could talk to. And maybe we could have done an actual in-person thing, because that would have, I feel like would have done like way better than like this, because we won't know if this actually has any results or anything. So we just have to hope it does something.
Yeah. I wish we would have realized earlier this wasn't possible, because we put in more time to making a better curriculum. So we put in time, but if we had the time that we spent trying to organize it that fell flat, we'd have a better final product, I think.
Thank you for the public library, Todd.
Todd Strauss, yeah.
Todd Strauss, like the head of technology department of the library. He helped us set up a time and everything because they were willing to help us. We had like a specific meeting. It was going to be on Saturday, and we even had volunteers from the NHS and the SMATIC, but we had to cancel it all. So like they still put up with all of us, and for Ms. Brenner for dealing up with like our last minute changes as well.
All right, thank you.
My name's Glenn, and I'm gonna tell you all about how to manage student fighting. And what was the question again? So over a couple of weeks, I managed to gain information from students and staff about why people fight in school and stuff. And there was a bunch of fights in the beginning of the school year, which teachers and students didn't know why it was happening. And honestly, I just got information because I'm black. What were the initial guiding questions? So why do, number one is, why do fights happen? The second question were, why aren't there female hall monitors, which we really need right now? Third question I had was, why is everyone fighting? And last question was, what should we do as a school? The journey, fights happen a lot in Waltham High School, especially at the beginning of the school year. Teachers and students usually question why they fight. This is why I decided to do this topic and really understand the causes of people fighting in school. The process. The introduction topic, I researched by interviewing students and teachers, and I asked them specific questions like, what in your mind, like what could you do to like resolve a situation, stuff like Mr. Vilfan. I asked him a couple questions. He said professionally, he said, honestly, students shouldn't be fighting in school, even though they have things outside of school, like boyfriend problems or girlfriend problems and all that. And another topic I had was disagreements between students are one of the most frequent causes. Fighting in the classroom, envy, rivalry, bullying, or just a different opinion are all reasons why students fight. Supporting the dual
That's
language.
not you.
Oh, no, yeah. Wait, that's it, I think. What? No, oh, my bad. Projects, reflections. I interviewed and turned my findings into a slideshow, which I did right here. My project personally doesn't affect me, but can help the school with research I have found. The up and downs in this project. The downs were staying focused and being serious while interviewing my peers, like the teachers and students and all that. Ups, it was easy for me to take, to make it enjoyable for the interviewees, like asking them serious and like fun, not really funny, but like how to say it? What's that word?
Informal?
Yeah, you could say. And myself also, it was easy to find people willing to interview. While I was interviewing, I realized people were honest with me and wanted to help me by answering my questions and making the school a better place. Next steps, if we had more time on the project. Idea, I can't even say it right now. Meditation programs in the school, implement meditation programs, meaning like, I think only Mr. V is the only one that really knows like those type of stuff. Yeah. And besides, how many school monitors do we have? Like 3 or 4, right? Yeah. So only Mr. V out of the 4, no, or out of the 4, you could say, no. Second chance, I would want to interview more students and staff to get more information. I only interviewed like 4, I think. 4 students and 1 hall monitor. And share I'd advertise my website more and post it on social media so I get more attention and try to help other schools with this same problem. Who helped me? Miss Hughes. She really helped me set up the days with the APs and all that. Miss Vanell, she helped me with the project overall. And APs for showing up. They're very busy people. I know that it's not easy to find a good day that works for all the APs, and they managed to find a day for all of us to meet up and really discuss the root causes of fighting. And the students and staff, I really shout out for them because without them I wouldn't get some of the information. And lastly, Miss Vernon, because she's the best teacher in the world right now. Last thing is a quote from Ronald Reagan, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. That's it. And my website is right in that link if you guys want to go check it out. And yeah, that's it.
We did a capstone project on the Waltham Language School. I don't know if y'all know the school on our old high school. It's a school that helps Spanish speakers, and it combines with English speakers and helps them learn English.
Why do we choose schools with a lower PT funding? So we're trying to find ways to help the community. And we find that for some schools, it's hard when they have the lower PT funding. So we decided to help school. So then we start to look for ways to help school, and we find that we can donate new equipment or donate money. So we decided to donate money, and that way the school can use it for the best equipment they really need. So then we start to look for ways to raise money, and we find different ways like bake sale, trivia night, seminar show, talent shows, and college show. And we decided to make a bake show. How do we end up choosing the Waltham Duolingo School? When we hear that the Duolingo School will move to the old high school, we knew that they're going to need some help. So the Waltham High School was made in 1969. So for the old high school that was made a long time ago, there's going to be a lot of need for new equipment. Having spent 3 years in the building, so we know that that's where it needs some help.
Our project reflected me and my group had a hard time starting because we were jumping between different problems. But once we finally ended on deciding to donate to lower income schools, we decided on the Waltham Language School because we know that it needs help and it's very old. We decided to do a bake sale and we ended up to $150. And even though it's not a lot, it still can do a lot for that tiny school. My up was when I was able to contact the building administration for this school to help start and have the bake sale. And my down was that the Waltham Language principal didn't really contact us. We never really had contact through email, and it was time to get in contact with them.
For my up, when we were able to sell almost every single cookie that we made, and for my down, it was really hard to find a way to donate the money. So that was the main resource that we ended up going to the school.
So my down was that more money could have been made, but it was still a good donation for our community. Next steps. If we were to have more time to add more to this project,
we will want to raise more money for the dual language school. Our plan would include selling more cookies and possibly expanding our efforts to involve more people outside of the school community to help us raise additional funds. If we were to reach out to people outside, it could significantly enhance our fundraising capabilities and support the school programs more effectively.
We want to thank Ms. Soren, Ms. Priya, and Ms. Tierney. Ms. Tierney is our librarian, Ms. Priya is our great teacher, and Ms. Soren is the one who helped us start the thing.
For today, one of the things I absolutely love about Capstone projects is that every single person starts with an idea. They start with a question that they're trying to investigate, they come upon an idea, and without fail, it doesn't work. That you run into an obstacle, that someone doesn't get back to you, that the place you wanted to have it isn't available, that it's too much money, that you don't raise enough money, that you contact people and you just keep contacting and it's kind of going into empty inboxes. Whatever the impact is, what PBL teaches kids is that you have to have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. And each time those iterations, your project will change and hopefully improve. And I think you heard that in a lot of these. They had a very short amount of time ultimately to do this. We really just kind of started in November and we throw in a Thanksgiving break in there and a Christmas break, and the time really gets truncated. So what these students were able to do in this time period is pretty remarkable, but really it is that constant reworking of a problem, the constant resetting and reevaluating. So thank you so much again for coming today. Thank you to my students for being amazing and persistent. We still have some time. Do you guys know when home clock is? I never remember.